Hi, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the KBL Studio Express. The first thing we're going to do is to invoke it from the Keg Studio Manager. Up comes our KSE. Here are the control functions around the outside of the screen, and this panel in the middle is where we write our script. Now, before I give you a little bit of a tour of the functions and controls on the outside, I'm going to write a short script just to get us into the swing of things. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is to import a file. I'm going to say import. I'm going to import an XLS file, spreadsheet, and it's going to be customers, and it's going to be worksheet sheet 1, which is a default, and I type in exit. Lo and behold, that is a working script. So if I now say reset run, it says at the bottom completed successfully. Okay, what's it done? Well, it's actually read into the main memory table the data that was in the spreadsheet. So if I click on main, there we see customer data, 57 rows of customer data, typical kind of customer file. In column 4 we have a customer type, com, SME, per for personal, etc. So let's say I want to do a little bit of work on personal data. So I'm not interested in the other types. So what I can do, I can say mark column 4, that's the convention here, equals per, and then going to go keep. Now if I run that, completed successfully again, and if I look in main, instead of the 57 rows I now have 36, and in column 4 they're all per. So we've eliminated the other column types. Okay, well that's not terribly sophisticated. Can we improve upon that? Well, let's start by, instead of hard coding per into the mark command, we set up a parameter. So I can say par C type equals per, and instead of saying mark C4 equals per, I can say I want it equal to the value in the parameter. And instead of me asking it to show main by clicking on main, I'm going to say tab dot show, so show me the table, which will be main, and I'm going to say, put a little message against it, customers for customers type, and we'll embed the parameter value in this message, C type equals. There we go. Right, this time when I run it, I'm not going to run the script from end to end. I'm going to run the first part of it. I'm going to run to here, make sure that works. So double click in my script and I'm going to say run to. It's stopped on that line, and if I look in main, I've got my 57 rows, and if I look in parameters, I can see that I have a value of per in C type. Okay, so that's a parameter. So if ever I want to look at data, I can look in main for table data, and I can look in parameters for parameter data. Now I'm going to keep stepping, step, 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 and if I look in main, we're down to 36 rows again with per, type per in column 4, and if I keep on stepping, that command will display for me. Okay, right, what else can we do? Well, let's say instead of having it as a parameter that we hard code into the script, we actually ask the customer, the user, to provide a type. So what I'll say is standard input par. I'm going to ask for parameter called C type, the message will be enter a cost type. We've got per, we've got SME, we've got com, and we make it 100 px long. We no longer need this. So if I run this now, let's see what happens. Reset, run, enter a cost type per SME or com. So I'm going to type in com. OK, and it's run all the way through, and it's come up with 4 rows which are of type com. OK, well, let's stop there rather than make this little script even more elaborate, and let's have a look at some of the other functions around the Kegsoft Studio Express. Okay, well, let's have a look at some of the controls that surround this KSE pane here. If we go to project, we can create a new project, we can open a project, we can look for recent projects. So let's, for example, go to Peter 1. Here are a number of scripts that belong to this project. This one here called Text Analyzer 3. This is an experimental script. I'll put some color on it. This one is for analyzing Shakespeare, something a little bit different. So if I say run, enter a file name to analyze, so where's the text that we want to analyze? MSN D Act 1, so Midsummer Night's Dream Act 1. Combine capitalized with non-capitalized words. Okay, it's told me that Act 1 has 7,631 characters in it. It's quite a lot of analysis to do, so it may take a minute to run. Well, let's give it a go. Da-dee-da-dee-da. So here's a summary. We've got 1,493 words, of which 546 are unique. Doing some analysis of the word counts. There we are. And occurred 61 times. Pyramus appeared 14 times. Okay, they're unique words, and they're the top ones used. Okay, so that's project script. We can create new scripts, open scripts, recent scripts. System. We can change some of the settings. We can change the color of the text if we want. We can change the default sizes and some of the things to do with the help. Help, you can see the version number, and we can invoke tips, tip of the day. We can also invoke the wizard, which I'll come to shortly. Underneath the main menu, we've got these control icons. We can save all files, save an individual file, reset my script, run my script, step through my script, run to a point in my script. We can look in main. Is there anything in there? Oh yes, this is main from the last script we ran, which is the Shakespeare. We can look in store. That's the subsidiary main, which we've probably used. I can look in the state of my parameters. So I use quite a few parameters in that script. I can look at sections, I can turn color on and off, and I can invoke the wizard. So let's invoke the wizard, shall we? I click on KWiz. Now the wizard will allow us to find videos on techniques and various aspects of KBL. We can find examples. So for example, if I wanted to know about using go-tos, it will come up with examples here. So I'm not going to run that for the minute. We can also find textual documentation. So for example, if I wanted something on if statements, I could type in if up here to search. Modeling business logic in KBL. I'll click on that one. Conditional logic. most of our documentation is online, so if I click here, this is some of our online documentation. We're looking at business logic. This involves ifs, go-tos, loops, etc. There we are, so that documentation there is there. And the wizard will be an expanding resource. There'll be all kinds of things that you'll be able to find through it as time goes on. Finally, we'll look at the right hand side. Now, the command structure in KBL is a 3-level hierarchy. We have a family of commands, we have sets of commands within the family, and we have individual commands. So for example, tab, which is probably one of the biggest command sets, tab is anything to do with tables, data sets, tabular data. So in the example that we had originally, we were looking at data in Excel files. If I want to know anything about a particular command, for example add, if I double click on add, then the help comes up for add. It'll give me information about the syntax that I need to use. It'll come up with numerous examples to do with add. So for example, there's one here. What's this one here? 50-point sine wave. Okay, that's got some add commands in it. I'll copy that to the studio and I'll run that, and up comes a cosine wave, and there's some information about the add command. And remember that as you type in your command, IntelliSense will always give you hints about what you need to do. So there we are. So I can construct my commands without actually having to know or learn the entire structure. IntelliSense will always help me out. So there are other aspects to KSE, but this is the simplified version of the Studio. You can build small scale applications. I haven't given you much of a demonstration here of the applications, but you've got everything you need to write quite powerful scripts, to create applications, to create projects, scripts within projects, to document your scripts and that kind of thing. So there is further information available through our website, and if you have downloaded the KSE to use KBL, then you'll be able to experience some of this facility for yourself. So thank you for watching, and please look at some of the other material on the website. Thank you.